Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. Today we'll start off in a cross-legged position. Bring your hands to rest on your knees or your thighs. Allow your eyes to close or find a soft gaze. And take your first few moments to bring focus and awareness to your breathing. With every inhale, allow your ribs to expand side to side. Feel your spine grow long. And with every exhale, allow your butt bones to sink a little heavier into your mat. Allow a few moments of stillness and silence with breath. Notice if you're holding on to any tension in your shoulders or your neck or your jaw. Try to release that tension with your next exhale. Start to blink your eyes open, unravel your legs, bring your feet out in front of you. Bring your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Start to slowly windshield wiper your knees from side to side. So you can lean your upper body back just a little bit, place your hands back behind you, and start to find this motion with your knees and your hips. And as we're early in our session here, we're just kind of starting to move around into the hips, especially into our internal rotation. And maybe feeling a little freedom in the lower back as well. Now the next time your knees are pointed over to the right, keep them there. And then bring your left leg so it comes a little further back behind you. Bring your right forearm down to the ground, reach your left arm up overhead, try to peel your heart space open to the ceiling, and then round the other way. So the left arm comes behind your left hip and your right arm comes up. And we take that again, just this nice circular motion. The right forearm comes down, the left arm comes up, almost like a little back bend to reach your heart space up and open, and then swirl the left arm around, bring the right arm up and over. And continue to move around and around. You can move a little bit quicker or a little bit slower. And feel free to pause in any of these postures. Just getting a little more movement into our upper body, side body, while also finding some range of motion into your hips. Last time, bring yourself back up to an upright sitting position. And then gently lower your knees to the left. Adjust your right knee so it comes a little further back behind you. Bring your left forearm to the ground, reach your right arm up and over so much that you spin your heart space open to the ceiling. And then swirl your right arm down and around. Right arm comes back behind you, left arm comes up overhead. And continue with this movement, big circular movement. Think of reaching through your fingertips. Try to keep your butt bones as grounded as possible. Notice when your left knee wants to lift, that's okay, but do try to keep some weight into your left shin and left thigh. And just as we found on the other side, take this in your own time, your own pacing. Try to allow a really big range of motion. Should feel very juicy, very fluid. Last time, come out of this, come back to a sitting position. And extend your legs out to the side, come into a straddle. So to your range of motion, whatever a straddle means to you, we'll start off by flexing through the feet, and then you can opt to sit up tall, feel your butt bones digging down into the mat, just as we started in that same position, nice long spine. You can stay here, or if it feels accessible, crawl your hands forward and bring yourself into a forward fold. Now, option to continue to flex through the feet, or you can allow your feet to be a little bit floppy. Try to maintain that your knees are pointing straight up to the ceiling, so don't allow them to roll forward, but keep them pointing straight up. So it's a little more active, but we're still finding a nice stretch into the inner thigh and groin. Walk your hands over to the right and release your body over your right knee, your right thigh. And you may notice that your left butt bone wants to creep up off the mat. Try to keep it planted down to the mat, acting as a bit more of a twist into the upper torso. Find a few more moments of relaxed breath. And slowly come out and move the opposite way. Bring your torso over your left thigh. And try to really square your chest and your shoulders over your left thigh. And take nice big breaths. Full big breaths in and full big breaths out. And then slowly bring yourself back to your straddle position. And then once again, you can stay in an upright position, or you can crawl yourself back out into your straddle. And notice if you're able to get a little bit further the second time around. Try to maintain big belly breaths. Find more weight into your forearms, into your elbows. And slowly make your way back up to a seat. Bring your legs together and in your own way, bring yourself up to stand. So you can bring your legs out in front of you, lift your hips. And then when you come to standing position, bring your feet just a little bit wider. So all of your toes are pointing forward. Reach your arms out to the side and find a big forward fold. Release your head. And take a few moments here. You can shift your hips from side to side. Shake your head yes or no. And then bend into your right knee for a lateral lunge. Hold for a moment. And then switch. Bend into your left knee. Lateral lunge, hold for just a moment. And move again back to the right. Lateral lunge, nice and deep through the hips. And then back to your left. And shift back to your right side. Notice as we continue, if you could allow yourself to get a bit deeper into these lunges. Bend into your left knee. Now bend into your right knee, and this time turn out through your feet. And if you can't get your hips down low, that's okay. Use your hands to help you out. And then use your hands to crawl over to your left lunge. Bend into your left knee, straighten through your right leg. Try to point your right knee up to the ceiling, just as we did in your straddle split. And take that again. Shift yourself over to the right. And then use your hands to help you out. Shift yourself over to the left. And we're going to take this into a mobility exercise. So shift your hips once again over to the right. Just to take this lunge a few more times. Nice and low, shift your hips over to the left. And again, if you're up a little bit higher, that's okay. Allow your hands to help you. Now shift your hips over to the right, and then this time lower your hips down to the mat. Now lower your right knee. This is where things get a little funky. Lift your right knee back up and try to lift your hips. You can use your hands if you need. Shift yourself over to the left. Lower your hips. Lower your left knee, internal rotation. Open your left knee, lift your hips, option to use your hands. Shift yourself over to the right, right lunge. Lower your hips. Lower your right knee, internal rotation. Open the right knee, lift your hips. Back over to the left. Control, lower the hips. Lower the left knee. Lift the left knee, lift the hips. And again, over to the right, lower your hips. Always the option to use your hands here. Lower your right knee, lift your right knee, and lift your hips. Walk yourself over to the left. Now this time things will be a little bit different. Lower your hips, internally rotate your left knee, and rotate your body so you're facing over your right leg. And now start to crawl yourself forward into a forward fold. So we're still finding internal rotation through your left hip. But we're also finding, of course, a nice little hamstring opener along your right hamstring. And just hold here for a few big breaths. You can keep your neck long, or you can release your head. Breathe into your ribs, find expansion in those spaces. And then slowly move yourself upright and start to walk yourself back. So you can come onto your hands, or if you feel comfortable, you can come onto your forearms, or maybe you come all the way down onto your back. Again, finding internal rotation through your left hip. And take a few more moments here. Maybe you're able to get the torso just a little bit lower. Feel that opening through the front of your left thigh. And then slowly bring yourself to an upright position. We came out of this the same way we came into it. So lift your left knee, lift your hips up, and then crawl into your right lunge. Gently lower your hips, lower your right knee, internally rotate, and rotate over your left thigh. And then when you're ready, release your body over your left leg. So we've got internal rotation along the right hip. You're finding a nice little hamstring opener through the left leg. And just breathe into this space. And notice any differences from one side to the other. Maybe some extra tightness into your hamstring. And slowly bring yourself up and lean your body back. You can come onto your hands, you can come onto your forearms. And take a few moments for breath. Notice differences from one side to the other. Maybe you're able to lean your body back just a little bit further. Find more stretch all along your right quad. And take a few more big breaths here. And then slowly make your way back up to an upright position. Lift your right knee the same way we came into it, we come out of it. Lift your hips. And then push yourself up to a wide-legged forward fold. So rotate your toes so all of your toes are pointing the same direction. And take a few moments here. You can soften through your knees and shake your head from side to side. Take a few more big breaths here. And then bring yourself to lie all the way down on your back. And when you're on your back, bring your feet a little bit wider than your mat, a little wider than your hips. And very gently windshield wipe your knees from side to side, the same way we did in the beginning of our session. Notice any differences in range of motion through your hip, especially internal rotation. And find a few more of these, your own pace, your own tempo. And in your own time, bring yourself to a lying down position. So when you're ready, stretch your legs out long and heavy in front of you. You can keep your arms up overhead. You can bring your arms down by your side or out to the side. And take these final few moments just to come to your breath. With every inhale, allow your belly and your chest to expand. And with every exhale, allow your body to sink a little bit heavier down into the mat. Give yourself a few moments of stillness and silence. Thank you for joining us today. And that's your flow.